When I walked in to pack my things, my cheating wife yelled, "What the hell are you doing?" I looked her in the eye and said I'd had enough. I was leaving for good. That moment is etched in my mind, the turning point where everything changed. With a suitcase in hand, I walked out of the home I had built with years of hard work, sweat, and sacrifice. That home once symbolized love, commitment, and trust, but none of that mattered anymore. It was supposed to be the perfect life. Maria and I had met a few years ago at a business meeting in Zurich. She was elegant, perceptive, and composed, the kind of woman I admired. At the time, I was consumed with climbing the career ladder in the luxury hotel industry, working 12-hour days with no time to think about love. But Maria changed that. She was a rising star in the financial world, with an exceptional mind and unwavering determination. Together, we were a power couple, conquering life side by side. In the first few years of our marriage, we traveled the world, attended glamorous events, and fulfilled our dreams. Our relationship felt unbreakable. But as I achieved more success, cracks began to form. At first, they were subtle. A late-night email that seemed too personal, an inexplicable phone call while I was in the shower. I brushed it off as the demands of her busy work life. But the distance between us grew, and the once vibrant chemistry we shared started to fade. One evening, everything changed. I came home early from a business trip, eager to surprise Maria with a romantic dinner. I set the table, lit candles, and waited for her to arrive. Her phone buzzed repeatedly on the kitchen counter, and curiosity got the better of me. A message from someone named Luca lit up the screen. "I miss you. Can't wait to see you again." My stomach sank. Against my better judgment, I scrolled through their conversation. Each message was more intimate than the last, flirty texts, inside jokes, and plans to meet in the city the following week. My world crumbled. When Maria walked in, she smiled at the dinner I'd prepared, but I couldn't see the woman I once adored. Her smile felt hollow, her presence a lie. We ate in silence, the air heavy with unsaid words. The following weeks were a blur. My instincts told me something was wrong. I started paying closer attention to her actions, her words, her stories. The more I looked, the clearer it became. Her life was full of secrets. Then came the final blow. While sorting laundry, I found a scarf draped over a chair in our bedroom. It was soft, luxurious, and unmistakably expensive, a piece from a brand I knew Maria didn't own. It wasn't mine. It wasn't hers. And I didn't need any more answers. It was a scarf I'd noticed during a trip to Milan last year, something that caught my eye but Maria had never bought. Yet, there it was, folded neatly on the dresser. A sudden flash of inspiration struck me, and that night, I asked her about it. She seemed puzzled, claiming she didn't know where it came from. But when I pressed her, she grew nervous. Too nervous. The following day, I decided it was time to confront her, though I lacked the concrete evidence to accuse her directly. I walked through the narrow streets, the darkness weighing on me as much as the turmoil in my mind. It had been a tense journey, and I felt deeply unsettled. If you're ready to uncover how our protagonist faced her painful truths and rebuilt her life, subscribe now. This emotional journey is far from over. Let's dive into the next chapter, a rainy Thursday when everything came crashing down. I had been keeping my suspicions to myself, but I'd reached my limit. That evening, I waited for Maria to come home. When she finally walked through the door, I was ready. "Maria, we need to talk," I said coldly, my voice devoid of warmth. She glanced at me, a quick, forced smile playing on her lips as she tossed her bag onto the sofa. "What's wrong?" she asked casually, oblivious to the storm brewing within me. Without preamble, I asked, "Who is Luca?" Her face paled instantly, her eyes wide with panic. "What are you talking about?" she stammered. I repeated myself, firmer this time. "Who is Luca? Why did you text him? Why is his name all over your phone?" Her hesitation told me everything I needed to know. Finally, she sighed and sat down, her composure faltering. "I swear it was nothing," she murmured, her voice trembling. Those words hit me like a slap. After all this time, This was her explanation? My voice trembled with anger. You feel lonely? After everything we've been through? After all the years we've spent together? She turned away, ashamed. It doesn't mean anything, she whispered. You're always working. You were never there, but Luca, he was. Her words shattered something inside me. I was building our future, Maria, I said, my voice low with disbelief. And this is how you repay me? In the days that followed, I knew what I had to do. I couldn't stay, but I wouldn't leave without making her understand the weight of her choices. On Saturday morning, I began packing my belongings. Clothes, books, photos. Each item felt heavier than the last. By the time I finished, the room was stripped of everything that was mine. Maria had gone out with a colleague, but when she returned and called out, "Hey, I'm home," I remained silent, my heart pounding. She walked upstairs, expecting to find me on the sofa, but her steps faltered when she saw the packed suitcase by the door and the empty closet. "What the hell are you doing?" she demanded, her voice sharp with anger. I stood up, meeting her gaze for the first time in days. "I'm leaving, Maria. I'm done." Her expression shifted from confusion to fury. "You can't just—" I cut her off. "No, I can't go on pretending. You made your choice. Now I'm making mine." Her eyes filled with tears, but I felt nothing. The love I once had for her had been consumed by betrayal. As I walked out the door with my suitcase in hand, I felt a strange sense of calm. I was leaving behind the woman I had built a life with, the memories we shared, the dreams we once had. But it wasn't as painful as I'd imagined. The betrayal had burned away all the emotions I once held dear. It was over. I was free. Sometimes, the hardest part isn't the betrayal itself, it's realizing you deserve more than the lies. Thank you for being part of the story.